Michael, the Mercedes guy again, and what we're doing today is installing Euro lights into a 116 bodied car. And first we're going to pull this lens off in order to clean it. There's a bunch of crap in here. So you want to have some protective eyewear, because you can generate little chips of glass that go flying. And these little spring clips, what you do is use a pair of pliers. That's a little stiff. So I'm going to put a dab of some penetrating oil on there. Because you certainly don't want to be breaking those retainers. Okay, so the first thing is to wiggle that thing and make sure that it does pivot. And just swing these out of the way. Okay, I have all 8 of them freed up. Note that sometimes they turn one way easier than the other. And now we're ready to pull this lens off. And in this case, the rubber seal pretty much came off with the lens. So we're going to clean this lens a little bit. We got some compressed air here. And it looks like some kind of glue right here. So I'm going to work at that with a little bit of lacquer thinner. Okay, so some lacquer thinner did the trick to get that old glue off, and I used my wire wheel. Somebody had glued this gasket to the lens, and actually the gasket should go into the slot in the headlight frame and not be glued to the lens. Now these reflectors are very easy to damage. For one thing, you never want to wipe them with a dry cloth, nor do you even want to use a paper towel. I use Kleenex and have it damp with water. And the important thing is, the more you rub the reflective surface, the more you can damage it. So you want to do just one swipe to clean it after you blast it with air. Now this has some corrosion here, so I'm going to address that first, and then we'll do a quick clean of the lenses. So I'm going to use just a wire brush on this, and I'm going to be real careful not to hit the lens. So I've got this cradled in my lap here to wire brush the heck out of this. And you do not want to breathe that dust. Okay, I've cleaned off the corrosion, but do note this will keep corroding because there's a finish to this aluminum that is now broken through. So the way to take care of that is just give it a slight coating of oil. And that will pretty much take care. I could paint it, but for sure the paint will not stick, and then it will flake off into the cavity here, and you just require more cleaning, removal of the lens and more cleaning. But this way, it's good for a long while, because that oil is down into the cracks. Okay, I got that saturated. Blow away the loose stuff. Now, we're going to do a wipe of the reflectors. I'm using tissue and nothing but just straight, clean water. If you use dry tissue, you'll scratch it. Or even if you used a rag or something, you want to be real careful, because that surface is very easy to damage, and then it won't be quite as bright.
Action.
Okay, nice and clean, but I do notice that this surface has gone bad. So, rather than expensive redoing of the lens, you can buy this chrome tape at your hardware store, and you carefully cut out a piece to lay in there. And you can see how bad this is. So I've used a piece of paper to make my pattern, and then drew it on the back side of the reflective tape. That just makes things a little bit faster. Okay, so I've got that reflective material on there, and you can see it looks a lot better. And one thing I forgot to mention, that must be absolutely clean underneath, and you can't really be ripping it off and putting it back on too many times, or you'll lose the sticky part of the tape. But that'll work. Okay, we're ready to start the assembly, and this gasket is a triangular shape. So you want to push the narrow part into the groove. And the joint is always at the bottom. This is the top. Okay. Assembly is the reverse of the disassembly, putting these clips back in place. And so this is cleaned and ready to go. And for the installation, just click on the below link.